Hello everybody and welcome to the Fan Forum, back where we belong. Leeds United 0, Manchester United 2. What a game. It was a shaky game, it was a nervy game. It could have gone either way, but Manchester United ended up winning it with 2-0. Thanks from some amazing substitutions from Erik ten Hag. And eventually the team got it across the line. We needed that, especially after dropping 2 points against Leeds at home. Tough performance, but we got there in the end, and there's a lot of positives that we can take from this game. And I'm joined by the panel, Faz, Kev and Ricky. Me, Ricky and Kev were actually watching it together in the Blaze, so we've been talking about a few things before, and there's some interesting points, so stay tuned with us, because remember the forum last week got a little bit heated. It could be the same again. But Faz, we'll start off with you. I mean, overall performance, what did you make of it? It was a nervy game, but you've come in here, you're absolutely buzzing.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
What did you think?
Of course, we're second in the league. We're second in the league.
Loving the positivity.
No, I'm shameless and dangerous. We have to take it as it is. We're second in the league.
Until 7 o'clock tonight.
Yeah. Well,
Temporary.
Let's not get bogged down with the nitty-gritty. Let's just concentrate on where we are. Everybody take your screenshots as it stands. We're second in the league. For the majority of the game, everybody here was probably annoyed, frustrated, distressed, rightly so. But this is where I want to give a huge abundance of credit to all the players and the manager, because they found a solution. You know, that's what I'm all about, find solution. Fred, a lot of people will say they won't agree with Sky Sports for giving him player of the match, but even though he was really poor in the game, he did make that tackle that won the ball. Weghorst got the assist and Garnacho scored the second goal, so I have to give all the players credit. I'm over the moon how Erik ten Hag has managed to actually, forget the subs, but in the second half, he changed a couple of players' positioning. He changed a couple of things. And this man is playing chess at the end of the day. We were, all of us, I'm sure, were fearful seeing Maguire and Shaw together in the back line. Nobody could sit here and tell me that they predicted that Maguire was going to have a win after the end of 90 minutes. But Erik ten Hag has come through yet again. The man is a genius. He's one of the best managers that we could have ever asked for. He's the best manager in the league, if you ask me. And on we go to Spotify FC.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. Barcelona coming up. I mean, Kev, there were a few question marks over that starting 11. And our group chat was going off saying, can I change my score prediction? I mean, Varane and Martinez are just world class at the back. So to go from that to Shaw, who has been unbelievable, but we know what Maguire's capabilities are. We've seen how he's played in the past, and considering how good Leeds were at Old Trafford, and let's give them credit, they were pretty good. A lot of people were nervous, but how did you make the back line today?
I think it was always going to be a tough game today, and yes, it doesn't fill you with much confidence when you see that kind of team sheet at the start, and it goes to this point now where you actually look, it is testament to Ten Hag. It's almost like, what is this bald Dutch wizardry that is going on? This is Harry Potter stuff, man. There'll be a film written about this. You know, the fact that United have gone to Leeds, won 2-0, played, you know, Fred, Harry Maguire in at the back. I mean, does not fill you with confidence. If this was his kind of audition to save his career at United, I think he's done himself lots and lots of harm, because it's just, how many times have we been on here, man, and we've discussed Harry Maguire, and you just cannot understand. You certainly wouldn't have him anywhere midweek for the Barcelona game. He doesn't get anywhere near that team. But I mean, Luke Shaw, we've spoke. Ricky loves Luke Shaw, you know, more than his wife, and that's it. And he is unbelievable.
I love Kevin De Bruyne more than my wife.
Then what about Martial? How much do you love him?
You want to hear the takes that were getting flown around while we were watching this game about Luke Shaw from Ricky.
Oh, he loves him, man. He never shut up about him. But in fairness, Luke Shaw was absolutely brilliant today. Yep. And to take a player from left back and play him at centre back, which a few eyebrows were raised when he initially was put into that position, he's looked absolutely brilliant. He's miles better than Harry Maguire.
Can I comment on that? You've got to ask yourself, what is the manager's thoughts? Beth intimated before the game that maybe it's to get Luke, because Martinez can't play on Thursday, that maybe it's to get Luke Shaw ready. I'm not sure that that's the reason. He's already played there against City. I don't think he needs to play there today in order to play there on Thursday. I think Luke Shaw is the best centre-back we've got. I think he's the best player we've got. And
best centre-back?
It's the best player we've got, never mind best centre-back. And when he played him against City when Martinez was available to play. And what reason could you possibly have if it isn't what Beth said, like getting Shaw ready for Thursday, which I don't think it is that, and Martinez can't play on Thursday? Surely you would play him today. Say you play Shaw there and Malacia like you did, and one of them gets injured, and then not one of them's missing for Thursday night, and Martinez can't play anyway on Thursday night. Yeah. Look, I'm not knocking the manager for this. It's worked out fantastic in the end. But to me, it seems ridiculous not to play Martinez today when he can't play on Thursday. So what is the reason behind it? I think the reason behind it is the manager was so determined to get the points, he wanted to go with his, apart from Maguire, his favourite back four, really, or his favourite centre-back on the left. Favourite left-sided centre-back is Luke Shaw. He's played him against City. We've just drawn 2-2 with Leeds at Old Trafford, and now we've played Leeds away, where you're expecting at least as tough a game, if not tougher, and he leaves Martinez out and plays Luke Shaw there. What is the reason?
Honestly, I mean, I can understand where you're coming from. I still stand by the point. It's to kind of get him used to Thursday night, because I thought Martinez was unbelievable in the home game against Leeds. He was man of the match. I remember me and you giving man of the match, and he was brilliant. So I mean, I'm excited to watch Eric Ten Hag's press conference. I love like Eric Ten Hag's press conferences anyway. He's one of the managers I just love listening to because he knows what he's on about. So hopefully that question gets asked and we get to hear about it, because I'd love to know why. I don't
think he's ever going to say, is he, that I just think Luke Shaw's a better player. Having said that, I have heard him say that I think this is the best. I've heard him say that type of thing a couple of times. I think this is our best option.
And he's in the best position to judge that. It's a player he trusts, isn't it, Luke Shaw? So he's obviously looked at it and thought...
I mean, he got asked about playing Maguire and he said, I'm not here for financial reasons, I'm here to play the best team, when he asked why he's not been playing Maguire. So he's not afraid to say things that need to be said. And honestly, I mean, Luke Shaw at centre-back, unbelievable again. But for me personally, him as a left-back, I mean, as a centre-back, he's brilliant, but him as a left-back, for me, Luke Shaw this season has generally got to the status where I think he's as important as the likes of Martinez, Casemiro, Varane, them types of players that are just... I mean, even I'd put Rashford in there, that are really key players that make this team tick, that when they're missing, you know that we needed Luke Shaw.
He saved us twice, Malacia.
100%, but you also get him going forward as well. That's one thing Malacia I think needs to improve on. I mean, Leeds were pushing us back a lot in the first half, but Luke Shaw is a forward threat. I mean, Ricky, you were talking how easily he skips past people.
He goes past people like that up there. I think I said to you during the game, I don't think people realise how good it is because of how easy he makes it look. Yeah, he sort of... Even in it, I think when I mentioned it to you, there was one incident where he was only just outside his own box. It was in the first half, but he was in the left back channel, and there's a player sprinting at him, and he just waits for that moment, and he just pokes it past him, and he's gone. Yeah. And the guy's that way, and he's just...
His intelligence,
just
first touch,
class.
Everything. It's just immaculate, absolutely immaculate.
And you saw the last game as well, how he turned. He pulled the ball back, and he left two players for dust, and then he was gone. And that's where Luke Shaw edges it. As a fullback, as an attacking fullback, what you will get with Malacia is he will always look to receive and pass. Whereas Luke Shaw, he'll soak up the pressure. Yeah. He'll take a winger and he'll take a midfielder, drag them towards him, yet still find a pass through, which is very pivotal. Whereas Malacia, he'll receive the ball and he'll always look to release the ball.
That's something that will come with experience.
Exactly. Honestly, defensively, Malacia is brilliant. I think.
Oh yeah, he saved us twice.
He's just working together. I have no worries about Malacia. I thought he's brilliant first half. He's up against the best left back in the league. In the world. Anyway, we've got a super chat here from D-Train saying, don't know when, but Bruno needs a rest. I agree with you. I think certain players in that team do need a rest, but we've just not got the depth, and we're fighting in 4 competitions. And we've got another super chat in saying, apparently some people think De Gea is diabolical whilst giving Maguire a free pass. Quite ironic, isn't it? The English bias is unreal. That's aimed at me, because I did tweet out saying that De Gea's passing was diabolical. It absolutely was. Different occasion that could have really cost us today. I also thought Maguire's passing was horrendous at times, and I don't think Maguire had a good game. We'll get into it now. I'm not going to go through and immediately on Twitter keep naming every single thing I thought went wrong, but people know my stance on De Gea for quite a while, and again, you could see it. You could see how poor his passing was, and it honestly did nearly cost us a couple of times, but I'm sure we'll get onto that later in the show. I want to be positive, and we were shaky. It was nervy. It always is going to be like that at Elland Road. It's a derby at the end of the day, and we were missing a few key players. But Faz, how do you think we coped in that midfield without Casemiro today? We really struggled at home. How did you see it today? I mean, Sky Sports give Fred man of the match. I didn't see it that way, but how did you see it?
I would have given, in all honesty,
Wait for man of the match till the end of the show.
Sorry. But, okay, how do we look in the midfield? So first thing first, I did see Sabitzer at times. You call it hiding, I call it wrong positioning. I don't want to call it hiding.
Yeah,
whereas
wrong
I did see Fred come and find spaces, use his energy, come in between the midfield, come in between the forward and find spaces to receive the ball. But then the centre-backs don't trust him. They don't pass to him. I've noticed numerous occasions, Fred is free to receive the ball, but his colleagues do not trust him because the fundamental of that is your back is to goal, you receive the ball and you must turn. You must at least half turn and find your fullback, find your winger, find your number 10. But he doesn't, so he doesn't give him the ball. But Sabitzer now, you see what he did is he made numerous tackles, and I call them tactical fouls. You need that in a game. You saw Dalot put him under pressure at one point, headed the ball off the sideline, and he had to make a foul on Wilfred. He had to make a foul in midfield. Did he get? I don't think he got a yellow card.
No, I was just going to say that. I don't even think he got
all of these are great fouls that he did, and Casemiro does the same. I am hoping for that day I see Casemiro and Sabitzer in that midfield because the aggression he brings will match the aggression of Casemiro as well. And a huge prop to Sabitzer for finding Luke Shaw with that pass.
Brilliant pass.
You can pre-assist, some people like to call it, but that pass was absolutely amazing. He's had some awful passes in the game today. Some passes you could say was a bit shaky, but to find that pass that late in the game when you've had an atrocious game so far and you've had to, I like to babysit Fred, huge props. I love Sabitzer so much.
Did you notice as well when Rashford scored that goal? First thing Luke Shaw did was go over to Sabitzer and start pat him in on the head because he knew how good that ball was. It created that goal. I mean, Luke Shaw's pass was incredible. Yeah. Rashford's header was brilliant header, but that pass from Sabitzer to turn the play like that, it was great. And I have to say, I mean, on the last show I said I didn't think Sabitzer was poor. I thought he grew into the game, but he wasn't doing some things that I would have liked him to do, like drop in and receive the ball. And again today, didn't quite see that. And I thought, again, Jack Harrison did a brilliant job on him, keeping that passing lane shut off. But like you said, the tackles he was making and having to deal with Fred as well in that game, and being away at Ellen Road, he's been literally chucked in at the deep end, and that's not his position. He's a box-to-box. I can't wait for him to play next to Casemiro. I think there's a real player in there, and I also think we need to unlock his attacking capabilities as well because there's so much to see from him. I'm excited for Sabitzer.
Just quickly, I think it was the first half, Sancho found Bruno, who had an atrocious shot on goal. Wasn't even on target. It nearly went to the corner flag, but Bruno should have passed it or slipped it through to Sabitzer because I think, in all honesty, one of the players that I trust with a long-range shot is Sabitzer in that squad. You saw previous game with his left foot and his right foot, and I think that's something that Ten Hag needs to maybe work on with the squad to allow Sabitzer to be in positions where he's got loads of space and then he can release the shot.
Somebody's just said, it's a good point about Sabitzer being able to shoot from the edge of the box. Somebody's just said on there about it's about time for Bruno to have a rest. When Casemiro's available, obviously the manager's trusting Fred at the moment. As bad a game as he had the other night, he still picks him today. I think a lot of people would have dropped Fred today, but he's stuck with him. I think we might see Casemiro and Fred, and maybe Sabitzer can get a game in Bruno's position on the odd occasion.
Yeah, it's a potential. It's potential. I think Bruno's one of them players that Ten Hag's just won't drop, if I'm being honest. But we might see it at some point. I've got another super chat in. Honestly, bring them on. Fred's Flintstone. De Gea saved us 2 or 3 times, multiple times this season. Yet Beth still moans about his passing. 200 clean sheets in the United shirt. The saves he made today, as a keeper, you should save them. As Joaquin would say, that is your job. I've stated numerous times. This is the last time I'm going to talk about it. I would love De Gea to learn how to pass the ball and be able to come off his line and come and collect crosses and be dominant in his box. I'd love it. He's a great shot stopper.
One pass that he did, Beth, was horrendous. When it went, it was like in sort of a left half position inside his own box, and he tried to kick a long ball and it didn't come off the ground, and it went straight to a Leeds player like 20 yards outside the box, bearing down on our goal. And it was shocking.
Honestly, Ricky, a lot of people that are educated and watch football can see where his frailties are. I know Mark likes him, and a lot of the viewers obviously like to follow what Mark thinks occasionally, and that's fine. But everyone has an opinion, and De Gea, Great shot stopper. Every other area of his game, it's not good enough to be a United player. In my opinion, you're entitled to yours. Anyway.
You have to
Right.
understand, to be a team that presses as hard as Leeds do, you see Nonto, Bamford and Harrison and all the rest, Somerville, the way they press, to beat a press, you have numerous different ways. One is you put the ball over everyone. Two, you pass the ball quicker and you move. And three, you use your keeper as the extra man to come out and carry the ball and find zipping passes. David De Gea has to have one of the centre-backs extremely close to him to then find a pass. And what that does is when you have a centre-back so close to your keeper, it invites all the forwards. You're dragging everyone in your own half when you're supposed to be pushing them back. And I love David. I'm David De Gea FC all day long. But that is this is when you're playing teams that are going to press you like this, you need keepers that can be an extra man almost on the ball to find acute passes. But then you blame David De Gea on this. You'll say, well, who is he going to pass to Fred? Because can Fred turn?
No, 100%.
One of them.
Like, the team today didn't drop in enough for him to make them passes, but as a goalkeeper playing at the top level, some of them passes today were inexcusable, and it's not the first time. It's like Ricky, you were saying in the derby. Could have cost us. His passing was absolutely horrendous then. It's coming game after game, and it's cost us in the past. And if you don't fix these issues, it's going to cost you again. You could see as well the back line nervous about it. I mean, Maguire makes everyone nervous as well. It's not just David De Gea. And you just need some things. People say you're trying to fix the air conditioner before fixing the whole car. That's what people are saying in the comments. There's some things that are really crucial. When you don't pass out from the back very well, it invites pressure on tenfold, and they get on top of you, and you've seen it happen multiple times. It happens game after game. And there's some areas that are brilliant, I have to say, but there's some things that just cannot keep going on, and that's my opinion anyway.
Sure.
But we'll move on to the first goal, because what a brilliant goal it was. I mean, Kev, we talked about the pass from Sabitzer was brilliant, and then the cross from Luke Shaw through to Rashford. I mean, Rashford just can't stop scoring, can he?
Well, up to that point, I think a few of us were kind of looking and thinking it was frustrating up to that point. How many times did he get in the opposition box and it just broke down? Again, it was just the wrong decision, but he's changed it up. This is what the manager does, plays him through the middle, and I thought the goal was absolutely brilliant. Testament, big shout out Luke Shaw, the ball to put it on a plate for him, but Rashford still got work to do, scores another header, and yeah, he's in top form at the minute. As long as he continues to do that, he'll go from strength to strength. But again, the criticism of Rashford is going to be this final thought process, knowing when to cross, knowing when to shoot, knowing when to pass. It just seems to get mixed up now and again, but I'm certainly not taking it away from him. Absolutely buzzing that he scored. The scoring run continues, and long may it continue.
You know what I was thinking when he scored? 1.6.
We were talking about that. We were talking about it. I mean, Ricky, do you want to...
That's the thing, Faz. If Rashford wasn't in the area, somebody else would have scored it.
Well,
Faz, you've not heard this story. Ricky, tell the story about your grandson with his goals.
Oh, I went to watch my grandson play football yesterday morning. He's only 8. He plays in an under-8s team. And
can he play 8 though?
It's only 5-a-side, but they drew 3-3 and he scored 3 goals.
Wow.
But if he wouldn't have played, they still would have scored 3 goals.
Oh, Ricky! Ricky! I do not want to be your grandson.
Well done, Freddie, if you want.
Well, it's like telling someone, well, you won the Ballon d'Or, but let's be honest, someone else would have won it, really. What if you didn't win it?
You're Roy Keane. He's just doing his job.
No, honestly, it was a great goal by Rashford, and he's just absolutely on fire. But then Faz, Garnacho as well, he was getting some stick unnecessarily. He comes on against tired legs. A stat for you, everyone. Garnacho has has the most goal and assist contributions than any player in the Premier League coming off the bench this season. Again, comes on and a brilliant finish as well.
You saw Ten Hag's celebration when he scored. It's like a father celebrating his son's goal. Wouldn't be you though. Someone would have got that goal. But still, the fact is, it takes a load of pressure off him. And I said this. I was saying this previously, that I love players who play with emotion. You play with emotion, you get all of it out on the pitch, and that was fantastic to see Garnacho do what he did to get the goal. He should have got 2 goals. Because he had another opportunity through on goal, and he doesn't have really an amazing left foot. and I thought he could have curled it past Melia. But nonetheless, Melia even got a touch on it, so he was slightly lucky. It came off the post. But you have to be in it to win it. You have to be, you have to roll the dice.
I don't think the keeper was expecting him to go near post. Usually go across, across the goalkeeper. So I think it's a really clever finish.
But you saw the timing of his run. He timed it perfectly. He was composed. All of it, and talk about composure. We know
confidence as well. To
confidence.
Go straight for goal.
I know Bruno Fernandes. He had a through on goal, and he couldn't be composed enough to put it past Melia. But Garnacho is an exceptional talent. We need to take our time. We need to, as much as we can say, oh, if you're old, if you wear the shirt, you're old enough to play, whatever, all of that stuff is good. But Man United, we are all about bringing youngsters through. We brought Rashford like that. We had so many players throughout our history. Garnacho is one of those players, and I want to not protect him too much, but I want the manager to do what he does best. He's done it at Bayern, with the academy, and I know he has a plan with our academy as well. And it gives us, it gives us now an option where an 18-year-old, young but mature, can come in and say, right, Rashford, you've done your job in the left side, you can now go in the middle. It gives us more good headaches, and I like it. So I'm overly pleased with Garnacho.
I have to say that's it's been posted on Twitter a lot. You'll be able to find it. The celebration from Ten Hag when Garnacho scores, he's literally so wholesome, and it's literally like a proud dad watching the kids score at football. And that's what you want to see. You want to see the relationships growing between the players, especially the young players, and the manager. And you can say when you put a lot of effort into a player, and he's obviously been bringing him through slowly but surely this season, and to see that pay off, especially after, I didn't know if you watched the press conference, he got a few questions about Garnacho Ten Hag, and I thought he answered him brilliantly, and he really stuck by his player and said how good he was and backed him. And then for him to come on and score for him as well, and that goal puts the game to bed then. I mean, it was still on edge if it's 1-0. So I'm so happy for Garnacho, and I just think his attitude, his winning mentality, it's top really at 18 years old. So people say when he comes off the pitch he looks disappointed. I say I'd so much rather a player come off the pitch disappointed because he's not impacted the game than what was happening last season. We were 2-0 down and players were getting subbed and they were smiling, shaking hands on the bench. You want players to have this grit inside of them where they have to make an impact. So
but you must understand he's not ready to start.
No, he's not.
He's not ready to start. It's still Anthony for me.
Right now.
It's still Anthony for me on the right. It's still Rashford for me on the left. You must understand that he is not ready to start. He's more of an impact.
I'm absolutely gutted that he started him on Wednesday night. Yeah. I think if Sancho would have started and Garnacho would have got the last 20 minutes when the game's getting stretched, when the goals and the chances come along. Yeah. You know what I mean? Some players are tired. I would love to see him start getting 20-25 minutes rather than, he didn't start today, but I think that's the best way to nurture him and bring him on.
How much more confidence does it give him as well when he's able to go against tired legs and get past him? And to be honest with you, I do think that would have happened. I just think Sancho was not fit enough to start maybe at Old Trafford.
I think it was very fitting for Garnacho to get that goal, because I think I won't drop the name in, but a certain individual on social media basically wrote off Garnacho this week. Oh God, don't get me started. So that one's for you, mate. I don't think you'll be watching anyway. But we get some stick for being on here, for being negative. Yeah. And we are. How can you write off an 18-year-old? An 18-year-old.
Listen, people did that with Ronaldo, mate. Let's be honest. Yeah, people did that with Ronaldo.
I went to the Youth Cup final. That was the first time I'd properly seen Garnacho. And I remember watching that with my son. My son was buzzing. What was he, about 10 at the time? I remember looking and thinking, he reminded me of a Ryan Giggs type player. I thought, if this is what the future's all about, the future's bright. At Manchester United. How can you write an 18-year-old? Look at what he's done today. The goal against Fulham. He's all about confidence, and this is where Ten Hag comes in. Ten Hag will put his arm around him. He'll use him at the correct times, not build him up too much, because players, can get overhyped. But Garnacho's got the world at his feet. I
love players who prove people wrong. Yeah, they play with a certain ego and a certain passion and chip on their shoulder, and I like that. That's what football's about.
Yeah, we've got a certain someone back in the chat after they've dropped a couple of points the last couple of weeks. Say Messi's back. Hey. Arsenal still winning the league. We will smash City. I mean, let's wait and see. You're doing well this season, but I mean, Arsenal falling off in February, water's wet, isn't it? We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. No, honestly.
Never mind Man City. Man United are coming for you.
It's a bit nervous who creeps up into second, I reckon, Faz. Yeah. But no, but moving on, I mean, Garnacho was brilliant. But I mean, a player that Garnacho got unnecessary stick, I thought, last week. A player that maybe got unnecessary stick this week, Wout Weghorst. I mean, Faz, what did you make of Wout? I mean, when he moved to number 10, that was an interesting change. What did you make of it all?
Listen, I think the manager played to Wout's strengths in the later half of the later part of the second half. Because one thing Wout does really well is pass the ball really well. He's got good touch on him as well. So he put him in the 10 position. And that was interesting because we've seen numerous times he takes Wout off, puts Rashford in the middle. So this time he said Wout can stay, maybe win the second ball, maybe win some aerial duels, and then set up someone with a pass. What was interesting is later on in the second half, I'm thinking, well, Wout doesn't have the legs, he doesn't have the speed. Why would he put him in the 10? But you saw the physicality that he brought, along with Fred winning the ball, the way the goal came about. That pass to Garnacho is the exact reason why he's put him on. And it's almost like trying something else. You have to take risks in games. That's how you win games. And he took a risk by putting him in the 10, and rightly so. He like we all have agreed many a times, what Wout does well is link up well, drop in deep. He had great touch on the ball for his height as well. And that's it. That's what he did, play to his strengths. And like I said, Ten Hag is the genius that he is. He did that. I was thinking, am I seeing correctly? Is the TV glitching or something? I didn't understand what he was doing, but yeah, there you go. This is what the manager does. Total football. You must expect the unexpected, which is Wout Weghorst in a 10.
I mean, Kev, I don't think many people would have thought Weghorst would be playing at 10. Again, another tactical genius move from Erik ten Hag, and I have to say I thought it worked phenomenally at the end of that game. I mean, I've just had a chat in as well that kind of sums it up really. Weghorst maybe isn't the biggest goal threat. Again, the service isn't brilliant, but he'll work his socks off, and that's what he did today. What did you make of his performance?
Just doing his job. No, I thought he was absolutely bang on today as a performance. I'm sure there seems to be a little bit of an agenda around Weghorst. I don't know whether it's the position he plays. He's an easy target sometimes when he gets brought off. But at the point of the game that we were watching, weren't we, Ricky? How many times did United need a breather? You knew the crowd were behind Leeds. They were going at us. It was frantic. And just being able to win a foul, hold the ball up for a couple of seconds, get the team to shift up, the momentum then swung with Manchester United. I thought he was vital to the way the game panned out today. The fact United won 2-0. The only thing I'm gutted at is he didn't get his goal, which I've not seen it back, but I did get a message to say that the last touch was off a Leeds defender, which, again, it throws it up. Yes, VAR looked at it, but gutted he didn't get a goal. I think a goal would have just rounded off a superb performance. And I'm sure there'll be some people in the chat, some other people that will probably think we've watched a different game of football, because they'll look at the numbers. You know, he didn't score, he didn't do this. People are expecting all that of him. But in what was a very difficult game, I thought Weghorst was absolute quality. I think he's done everything the manager has asked, of him. It's like a selfless. Apart from that, yeah, but
which he may have done, but it's not his fault if the VAR get it wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe he did score a goal.
Very unselfish player.
That's how unlucky football can be. I mean, I've not seen it back again. But if that is a goal, if that should be a goal, it's not his fault and it's not been given as a goal.
And maybe Ten Hag has identified. We all know he's certainly not got pace. To put him in a number 10 role today, this is the manager, the wizardry that is going on with Ten Hag. He's identified that and thought, well, if I can drop him into this 10 role, he doesn't have to start the press, he doesn't have to be frantic, running around like headless chicken. We'll actually use him, utilise him in there, hold the ball up so we can get up the pitch. Yeah.
I mean, Ricky, we were watching the game together, and people were giving Weghorst some stick, but...
Go on. you read a tweet to me, didn't you, about 15 or 20 minutes into the game by... And
it was Luckhurst, actually, it was Samuel Luckhurst. He was saying that everything's breaking down through Weghorst, he's had a horrendous start to this game. Personally, I didn't think he was amazing the first half. I thought in the second half he was very good. But he was putting some good passes together, he was holding up the play, and defensively he was pressing really, really well and getting back and helping defend. He blocked a goal in the second half as well. You really liked his performance. What did you like about it?
What annoyed me was somebody who's probably got a lot of followers putting that out on Twitter 20 minutes into the game about saying he was horrendous, and I was already pointing it out to you how well he was receiving the ball and laying it off.
Yeah, you were.
And funnily enough, he went a bit quiet for about 15 minutes after that tweet. But at the moment that tweet came out, it was the pick of our three forwards
Makes
comfortably.
you wonder what people watch.
In the first 20 minutes, Rashford couldn't get a kick of the ball. Could not get a kick of the ball.
Facts.
And Sancho, and I liked the way he came on and he got stronger and he did better and he made that chance for Bruno. He did come on. But Sancho in the first, he was shaky the first 15 minutes. He lost it 3 or 4 times. Weghorst looked after the ball virtually every time we got it, and it was quite often in the first 15 or 20 minutes. It was the pick of our forwards. So why put a tweet out saying he's shocking?
Yeah.
Rashford was shocking. Sancho was only the first 20 minutes. Rashford was shocking. Sancho was shocking, and Weghorst wasn't.
Yeah.
How wrong can you get it?
Yeah.
Now, don't underestimate how important that is. By the way, it's all right saying we've ended up winning 2-0 and we've kept a clean sheet, but you need your forwards to get hold of that ball and keep it and give you the chance to get up the field.
That's Ten Hag ball.
Now, obviously, Sancho lost it a few times. Rashford couldn't get in the game. Imagine if Weghorst would have lost it every time he got it. Imagine the pressure we would have come under. He was the only one who was relieving that pressure.
Yeah.
We might have found ourselves... people always just think about the goals that you're going to score. If he wasn't the one who was getting hold of the ball and allowing us to get out and allowing us to get a bit of a breather in the first half, maybe we'd have been a goal down at half-time instead.
Yeah,
And this is why I say why Anthony's important to hold the ball. And people say direct all the time. This one word, but it's important. Part of Ten Hag's philosophy is keep the ball. We want to hold. We want to dictate everything.
They can't score when you've got the ball.
That's absolutely right. And I'm critical of Weghorst, but even today, Sancho and Rashford. At one point, someone was asking me, "Is Rashford on the pitch? Where's Rashford?" Because he's nowhere to be found. And again, both our wingers were losing the ball, even though they had little moments, but they weren't performing at the level that Weghorst was. You have to hold the ball, you have to press, and you have to make sure you get others into play. And Weghorst did that.
Yeah,
I think he's an easy target. He's on loan from Burnley. People, pull the nose up. In January, we wanted more investment. We were never going to get it. So Eric Ten Hag's had to look at this and go with a player that he knows. I just think he's an easy target. I really do. And I still don't think we're playing to his strengths.
No, 100%.
We're still not whipping balls in for him. He's feeding off scraps, so it's hard for him.
I do have to say, my personal opinion is he's not good enough to be Manchester United's number 9, nowhere near. But again, today, I do think he was getting scapegoated, and I do think it was actually one of his best games. I thought his hold-up play was good, he's putting some nice through balls through, he should have maybe got his goal at the end, he defended well. In a game at Ellen Road, for your number 9, I would have liked him to be more of a goal threat, but we know his limitations. I think
he's an easy target. You're right there, Ricky, to say, there was other players on that pitch at that stage of the game, 20 minutes in or whatever, that were
who weren't doing the
well
job
below the level of what Weghorst was in the opening of that game. So to put a tweet out, it's just an easy target.
Yeah. I would want the, I don't know who's the set piece coach is, because it's not Eric Ramsey anymore. He's individual performance coach, but whatever Ten Hag has got planning with set pieces, I would want us to work on set pieces to utilise Wout in the box. With crosses, okay, we don't cross enough, whatever, all of that, but that's in-game play. What you do have in control is set pieces, crosses, free kicks. I'd like us to improve that and find a way to get the ball on Weghorst's head and maybe get some goals or assists or pre-assists or whatever, because
he got an
we've
assist
not
today,
done
didn't
that
he?
yet. Yeah, we've not done that yet in terms of aerial threat from crosses.
Yeah, we have some super chats coming in as well. We've got one from International 2675 saying Rashford isn't being given enough credit and has been taken for granted. Hard to see where the goals will come from. Ricky will argue his point on that one.
He's not getting enough credit.
I think Rashford's getting more than enough credit. It's just I have to agree with that super chat where he is our main goal threat. There's some other goal threats, but it does seem like you said when he goes into some negotiations.
Oh yeah, but listen, all you lot, when I told you give Rashford 275, you lot told me I'm deluded. Well, guess what? By the time he's done with Murta and Arnold in the boardroom, Man United probably won't have no more money left to give unless we have new owners, because this player can easily ask for 300, easily, especially the GA he's having. Yeah,
I don't understand why people get.
I don't understand.
Thinking about it's.
Yeah. Oh, 275 is too much. He's only done it for one season.
It's not your money.
Well, take a screenshot of the table, and then talk to me about.
Take a screenshot if we didn't have Rashford's goals.
Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, you got your 1.6, Ricky, today.
got the 1 point, so we got 2, didn't we? So that's slightly ahead. You need to score. To get 1.6 in the season, you need to score 1 every week. Sorry, 1 in half the games and 2 in half the games. That's 1.5. So just occasionally, a little bit more often, you need to get 2. And we got 2 the other night, 2 tonight. But we need to up it. Last season it was 1.5 a game. So far this season, it's 1.6 a game.
I just want to ask you actually, are you happy with Rashford's goals? I mean, a couple headers recently.
Fantastic headers.
He used to be very poor with his head. He's doing it brilliantly now.
Couldn't edit. He couldn't score with his left foot. He's doing both of those things. You know, make no mistake. I do appreciate that he's finishing better. Often he plays better. I won't include today. Often he plays better than he used to play. He is an important player now. I mean, certain players who are in the public eye. And Rashford's one of them. People go over the top about it. I saw. Was it Sky? It was some big entity put something out on Twitter. Rashford enters the Golden Boot
conversation.
Did you see it? The Golden Boot conversation.
That was silly.
And Haaland's on 25 and he's on 11.
12 now.
12 now.
And by the way, can I just say
is Haaland on 26 yet?
Scored a hat-trick already.
Chat would have told me. Can I just say as well, that goal that he scored that was offside was a brilliant finish as well.
Great finish. Great finish.
He's just...
I wish the 2 chances that fell to Bruno would have fell to Rashford, put it that way.
Yeah, he's in
Bruno had 2 good chances,
form.
didn't he?
Did.
I have to have a conversation about Mr. Bruno Fernandes before I start triggering and hurting people's feelings.
Overplayed.
I'm really sorry.
Overplayed.
But yeah, have to have a conversation because
I was
competitions next year.
I was gutted that he didn't score them goals. He should have. I've got to say.
No excuse.
No, yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're overplayed. You're 1v1 with the keeper. For me, I can forgive a lot of things, but 1v1 with the keeper, I seriously cannot.
He's such a good finisher of a ball as well.
We know that,
He scored some great goals. I was frustrated, I have to say.
Here's one for you. When did he last get an assist with a through ball?
Bruno.
Yeah, because Valvego's got an assist with a through ball, and he only played at number 10 for 20
He's got many great assists this season.
In Bruno's defence, he should have had 2 last game, shouldn't he?
Yeah, we've Garnacho. Don't get me started, Ricky. Don't get me started.
What a day this has been.
Are you trying to tell me Weghorst is better number 10
I
than
think
Bruno?
it's taken my mind a minute here to process what... It was bad enough him actually praising Rashford.
I do have to say, everyone can have a bad game. I admit I'm one of Bruno's biggest fans. It wasn't his best game today. But again, this guy's playing 90 minutes every 3 games consistently.
True. Yeah.
And he's playing it probably one of the most demanding positions on the pitch. He's playing right, he's playing middle, he's dealing with a midfield of Fred and Sabitzer now, which isn't the same as Casemiro. I'm not making excuses, but...
Sancho gave him a lazy pass and he went to kick the ball out.
It's 2-0 to City already, can I just say?
Collided, oh my God. I don't know the name of the player, I forgot, who collided with Bruno, and I thought he snapped his ankle in half almost. It was because he was ball-to-ball collision. But, this is Bruno Fernandes for you. This man is made of vibranium. I don't know what he's made of, but he just doesn't feel pain.
And it's like he actually sometimes leaves his leg out for the tackle to hit him.
He did that on a...
So he can get it. So
that was someone else. I'm not going to mention their name. I don't know about that one.
Can I just say he's actually very... he's very clever at bringing it, getting fouls, and I think he's also he's a player that you don't like if you're on the opposition team. But
you absolutely despise him.
He does get some good decisions from us from the way he behaves on the pitch, I have to say. Sai from Yangon says, when Maguire's in possession of the ball, the man gives me anxiety. He slowed down the game so much by making infinite touches before making the pass. I have to agree, Maguire scares us all, I feel like. SK says, Weggy might not be a great striker, but he works and knows what forwards need service-wise. Weggy slander is just football snobbery. He's doing his job. You like that one, don't you, Kev? You don't like that one? Let's see if I've got anything else. No, that's it for now. But
Can I just quickly touch on Dalot?
I was just about to bring Dalot up.
Please do.
I was just about to bring Dalot up. I mean, I'll come to you first, Faz. I was going to go to Ricky because he's a big Dalot fan. But... last game I thought he was rusty, but that assist he got was great. Today, God, that shot that hit the post, I wish that went in. And I thought he was definitely a lot better and handled Garnacho a lot better. What did you think?
I think he looks a bit leggy and he looks a bit shaky for me. He doesn't look like he's in sync with everyone. you saw in the first half, ball gets whipped in, and he's the first person to be stopping that cross. And he's again almost like he's not on his toes at times. He's
just come back from injury, and he's
come back from injury. Manager starting him back to back. Bissaka was on the bench. I don't know why he didn't play him. Maybe Bissaka's not, fully 100% fit yet. But those kind of balls that get whipped in, Bissaka dives in, and he'll put his body on the line to stop the ball from going in. And the slight tackle that Bissaka makes, we love him for. Dalot put a lot of his colleagues under pressure today. We have to say it. No discredit to Dalot. We know his quality. I love Dalot a lot, but I think Bissaka needs to step up and come back in until Dalot can find his match rhythm again. I think it's just match rhythm, nothing else. But he did cost us a couple passes at times. Sancho didn't help him out a lot as well. Let's be honest. This is why I keep saying Anthony takes so much pressure off Dalot or Bissaka. And I said this, the reason why I credit Anthony so much, because he has a great relationship with not one, but two fullbacks. Both fullbacks feel so much at ease with him. And even Rashford on the other side left Malacia for dead at times. And you saw Sancho as well. But Dalot just looks a bit out of match rhythm. And I don't know why Ten Hag started him if Bissaka was available.
I found it quite funny that, because I was defending Dalot the other night and he got a bit of stick off a few people. He was the only member of the back four who kept his position today since Wednesday's game.
I have to say, I agree with you. I thought Dalot wasn't his usual self. Like, we've seen how good he can be, but I didn't think he was poor today. I thought he was decent. I thought he defensively was solid-ish. Like, he wasn't amazing, but he was solid. I thought he made a few nice passes getting forward. It was tough because of how pressed back we were, but I think Bissaka's been better recently, 100%, and I would be playing Bissaka ahead of him right now, but he's getting back into that match rhythm after injury. Sometimes can be difficult. But Ricky, what did you think of Dalot?
I just thought he was okay, nothing special, but he's just a good player. So even though I agree with Faz, he did give a couple of sloppy passes, maybe put the defence under pressure once or twice. Hardly anybody doesn't. I remember one poor pass that Luke Shaw gave, you know what I mean? So hardly anybody doesn't make the odd mistake.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got a few quotes coming in from Erik ten Hag now about the game, which we'll get into. Erik ten Hag says on Marcus Rashford, he says, he's definitely one of the best forwards in the world on form. I was convinced from the first moment. I was really excited to work with him. I thought I could get more out of him. He has such high potential. And he also says it's about keeping focus over the 90 to 95 minutes of the game, or if it needs 120 minutes. If you can do that, Rashford, will score with his left, right and with his head.
Well done, I like that. He's working on that.
He's working on it. And then he talks about the struggles before the first goal. It's about more composure in the game. I think that's a big problem. It's normal, it's a derby, there's a rivalry, but in possession you have to be calm, and we were not calm enough. We were saying that, weren't we? Then he goes on to say about keeping a clean sheet with a reshuffle defence. In this game, we showed our squad, and we're the only team in the whole of Europe who are playing 4 leagues. Then you have to use your squad. And he says everyone is contributing inside the squad, everyone is important, that is a good thing to know. And then when you use it tactically, I think we did that well, and we are happy with this win. And then he talks about if you'll see Harry Maguire more going forward. He says we've seen him in a lot of games against Reading, also other games. I think he played against Bournemouth, so he will play games definitely, and we need him. He also says he's a good player, but we have competition. In the back line, we have top quality. It's a nice competition internally, and we need that as a team. For me personally, I don't know how you see that, Kev. It means Maguire's still going to play the odd game here and there. He's definitely not going to be a star.
Not often. I disagree with Erik ten Hag, but that is one player we don't need.
No,
we need him. We've got. When you think Luke Shaw can play centre back, you've got Varane, you've got Martinez, Lindelof as well. Sorry, you're talking about four positions there, and Harry Maguire's not. He's not even entering that conversation, knocking on the door to even break into that team. Maybe he can listen. Maybe he can do a job till the end of the season, and then it's see you later. It has to be.
Every player in the back. Sorry.
Go on. I was just going to say, a manager's never come out and say this player's crap, is he? Yeah. He's just not going to do that. But I do think Ten Hag's not been afraid at times to rest and rotate to keep the top players fit and fresh. Varane's one of them. He can't play 3 games a week. He kind of he didn't have to, but in previous cases, you could have seen a manager maybe overplay Varane. It leads to an injury, which means then Maguire has to play for 2 or 3 months straight, potentially. He's managing it occasionally for different games, and I think he's managed it really well, if I'm being honest with you. And the way he speaks about the squad and he's keeping that team unity together, I just think he's top class. But what do you think, Faz?
Pretty much every player in the back line can play numerous different positions, except for Harry Maguire. Varane, you could say that as well, but Varane is one of the best centre-backs that we could have asked for currently with the money and everything that we have with the situation. So Harry Maguire isn't a total football type of centre-back that we could use. He can only play one position, and the only one of his qualities is maybe aerial battles and just that one pass that he can make to his wingers. Other than that, I don't see anything.
He's got no pace, and you can't teach that. It's not something you can work on in the training ground and go, you're going to become quick. You've either got it or you haven't.
He doesn't have pace, and one of the most important things that pace, okay, sure, whatever it is, but one of the things he doesn't have, press. If you're getting pressed, you must be able to turn a player. You saw I think it was the first half or the second half, correct me if I'm wrong, but he made a sloppy pass back that he had to then go and cover. But if it was someone like a Haaland or whoever, a semi-decent striker or a forward that goes in, with Varane, what you'll see is Varane will purposely drag you in deep waters and then turn you. That's what Varane can do. That's what a really, really good centre-back, a world-class centre-back can do. But Harry Maguire, he has...
A Varane or a Martinez wouldn't have been caught on the ball.
Yeah, it's not possible.
Harry Maguire had so much time there, and I think it always looks like you're watching him in slow motion anyway. But to have that much time and then turn and try and play a ball back, I mean... I was going to say it's school kid stuff, but I think that's being quite hard on school kids.
When he tried to run back, I mean, he did eventually manage to get the tackle in, but when he was running back, it was literally like running through quicksand.
Yeah. And all he's doing is recovering his own mistake. It's not the kind of thing you cheer and go, yay, well done, Maguire, because really what you're thinking is, why have you put yourself in that situation in the first place? You're putting huge stress.
Listen,
I've had Leeds fans message me after this game saying how bad Maguire is. Yeah. So it's like when other fans are seeing it as well. It's one of them. You don't want to be too negative. But De Gea actually said about Maguire. He said, "Players like Harry Maguire, he has not been playing much as he can, and today he played fantastic." So that means our team is playing strong. De Gea, mate. I mean, he's going to pick up his teammates.
They're going to build him up. We can look at it and go, do you know what? As I go back to the Ten Hag wizardry. He's started Harry Maguire, captain, played him at centre-back today, and we beat Leeds 2-0. We've not conceded a goal.
Exactly. A few games, Harry Maguire, this season.
It could have gone many different ways at different points in the game. Again, it's fine margins, it really is. But we got the win, and I mean, he was part of that. You can't take it away from him. He captained it as well. And another little quote, I'll just end on this quote from Maguire saying, "Winning the game is the most important. I'm captain of the team and I put the team miles ahead of myself. Whether I'm playing or not, I want them to win and I want to be successful." I mean, that's a nice kind of...
He's saying all the correct things.
He's saying what needs to be said. I mean, as a captain, you expect that. You expect him to put the team first over himself. But, I mean, it's for me personally, if he's trying to put himself in the shot window on today's game, it's just...
Well, he knows there's a Carabao Cup final coming up, and he wants to be all over that, lifting that trophy.
He's going to lift hopefully, fingers crossed, I don't jinx it, he's going to lift the trophy this season. So kudos to him. But going forward, obviously, he's going to get sold. I can be fully 100% of that he's going to be sold. And Ten Hag's probably just playing him in a way where he's adding value. Because summertime, if I asked you what his value, you would have told me 5 million if we're lucky, 10 million if we're lucky. But right now, Harry Maguire, with the performances he's had, even though he's been shaky, we've won games with him on the pitch. So you could say we could get some change from
one thing I have to say, this is a difference as well between a captain like Bruno and a captain like Maguire. And I'm not trying to dig him out, but Maguire would not have spoke today if we would have lost that game. Wouldn't have spoke to them. He doesn't speak after we lose games.
No, he'd have let his social media team tweet some balls out at the end saying we've not the result we wanted, we go again.
He's protected from the media in that way. I mean, the amount of stick he gets is mental in a way, but that's one thing I would say for me personally, to be a captain as a centre-back, he's just not at the level needed for Manchester United. But you know what, he can go to another team in the summer and he could be a very good signing for them if they play the way that suits him. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on that. But yes, I mean, Faz, we'll just kind of talk about maybe the Barcelona game a little bit. You have Casemiro back for that game. What midfield are you playing? Are you playing Casemiro as a bit to Bruno in that game?
You have to. I don't have any other option really to play other than the strongest team. In going to Spotify FC, I would like to. I got a card. You have to call him 5 hours. It's a joke.
You never know who's going to buy us.
Then I'll call ourselves Apple Music FC. But long as we're not selling parts of our grass and having weddings, Old Trafford, I'll be all right. But no, look, I think going to Barcelona, I just want to come back with a minimum draw. If we can get a draw, I'd be celebrating that, in all honesty. But yeah, Casemiro. Look, Casemiro going back to Barcelona, they're his rival, for all of his career. They're his rival. I do have slight concern of Casemiro that when he misses a game, he needs a game to kind of come back to his full self. So I'm just a little concerned, but I think going into Barcelona, he'll be thinking, these are my rivals for years, and I'm going to bring it. Whoever it's in that midfield, I hope he can school them. And Sabitzer will take a lot of confidence from today as well. You have to think about that. He'll take a lot of confidence from today going into Barcelona. Bruno Fernandes, can we rest him? Can we afford to rest him? No. Has Sancho had an amazing game today where we can say, right, Sancho, go on and play the number 10 position for 50, 60 minutes? No. So it has to be Casemiro, Sabitzer and Bruno, yeah?
Yeah, it does. It really does. I don't think there's any kind of alternative to that. But, I mean, Fred might sneak in. You don't know if Eric's
What about Weggy? Can we play Weggy in the 10? Let's have a board meeting.
He can play everywhere, this lad.
He might sneak in. I mean, Weghorst playing against Barcelona, it's actually mentally think about
Weghorst versus Lewandowski.
I definitely think Weghorst will play and he'll start. I mean, Kev, if you're Eric Ten Hag, are you starting Wan-Bissaka or are you starting Dalot?
Do you know, the tough one with this is you have to look at it as, with it being a two-legged game, is, like you've just said, you need to still be in that tie come next week, after the game at the new camp. So it's one for Ten Hag to navigate. I think I would probably go with Wan-Bissaka. Purely from maybe a defensive point of view. I can't argue much on the midfield, although I can't help but think that he might try and get Fred in there with the midfield front three. Possibly maybe even pushing Bruno out on the right. I know a lot of people go mad at me for saying this a lot, but when you're looking at the team and the performance you're going to have to put in at the new camp against a very good Barcelona team, there could be a few tweaks here and there. Fred and Casemiro have played together for Brazil and that. I know it might drive a few people mad, but it's all about staying in-game management. We certainly want to be in it when we go back to Old Trafford. And Sir Alex Ferguson used to do things like this. In big games, Champions League games, we go away with a view of, not conceding a goal, staying in the tie.
I have to say, I massively agree with you. I think it will be Casemiro, Sabitzer, Fred and Bruno on the right. I have to say,
Fred?
I think Fred will play, yeah. I think
Lord
Fred will
have
play.
mercy. No way.
Pastor Fred.
He'll try and pack the midfield, I personally think, and I think he'll put Bruno on the right. What do you think, Ricky?
I was just about to say, I think Kev's nailed it there. I hadn't thought of that, but that's a great shout. I think he might well put Bruno to the right and then play all three midfield players. And then obviously Rashford left and just Weghorst at number 9.
You try to use that pace then on the counter-attack, aren't you?
Well, there's definitely no harm in coming back and winning at Old Trafford. I mean, I keep saying this. I mean, I know it's not the game that everyone wants, but 0-0 would be perfect for us, really. Come back and win it at Old Trafford. You want to go away and win, but New Camp's going to be tough. Barcelona are playing well, and no matter how many people say La Liga isn't on the same level as the Prem, which it isn't, I have to agree, Barcelona are a good team, and I have to agree with you, Kev. Look at Dalot or Wan-Bissaka, looking at going to, I think at Old Trafford, Dalot could be the option, but if you're looking at going to the new camp, Wan-Bissaka...
Horses for courses, as Ricky usually says, isn't it?
He does, and one thing I do want to bring up, actually, is Eric Ten Hag did speak on the lack of service to the forward lines. He put that there is lack of service to the forwards, so then it's difficult for them to act. I think after the changes, we got some more spaces, and we found the spaces, and I think we made a great first goal to make it 1-0. It was a great finish from Marcus, once again, a team goal about the formation, the possession, and the switch of play, and a great cross from Luke Shaw. Do you like that, Ricky?
Love it.
Yeah, Eric Ten Hag knows what he's talking about. This guy knows. But, I mean, to finish up towards the end of the show, I want to talk about our man of the matches. I mean, I'll go this way across this time. My man of the match would be Luke Shaw. I think centre-back, he was brilliant. And then when he came to left-back, I thought it changed the game. Faz?
That's a good one. Luke Shaw. I give it to Sabitzer because it's his second start in a situation where technically he shouldn't be starting. And for me, the tackles and challenges that he made slowed the game down when we needed it to slow down. When that stadium was like a pressure cooker, and you throw in Sabitzer in there just after bringing him into the club, and for him to pick out that pass to Luke Shaw, who's been absolutely amazing as well. No discredit to him, but I want to just boost his confidence, Sabitzer's confidence going to Barcelona game. So for me, it'd be Sabitzer.
Kev?
Both great shouts, but yeah, I have to go with Luke Shaw. I think Luke Shaw continues to amaze me. He really does, from game to game. Like I said earlier, the fact that he's been picked at centre-back and doesn't look out of place, he's just looked absolute class. And then when he fits into that left-back role as well, he's just... The ball is almost like the ball's stuck to his feet. You know, in certain situations and that, the way he comes out with them, it's mind-boggling. You just look and think, and then you kind of take him for granted because you just expect that from him. Every week he's putting in 7s, 8s. You know, he's very, very rare that we sit here and go, bloody hell, Luke Shaw, had a right howler of a game today, because he just does not have them. He's like the new Dennis Irwin. Remember they used to call him Mr. Consistency at United because he always got a 7 or above. Luke Shaw's going down that same road.
He's top class. I mean, a lot of people in the chat are saying Ten Hag man of the match, which you could definitely. I mean,
that's a good call.
He was brilliant. So many people are saying De Gea man of the match. I can't.
Really?
I can't cope with it.
I don't know.
He made 2 brilliant saves. He made saves a keeper should be making at the highest level. He invited pressure on us numerous times by not being able to pass the ball. He doesn't collect crosses. I'm not going back into this now. But I can't go. If you don't see it, you don't see it. But it is what it is. But Ricky has got one to take it away for us. Rick, man of the match.
Both great shouts. I thought Sabitzer did really well. It's only his second game. Luke Shaw. Look, I give Luke Shaw man of the match nearly every week. So I think it's time for a change, and it's like there's a lot of defending to do. I nearly always give it Luke Shaw. He plays well both defensively and on the attack. But I'd like to give it to a forward for a change. So I'm gonna go Wout Weghorst as man of the match today.
Yeah.
I thought he played really well throughout the game. His hold-up play in the first half was vital because the other 2 forwards weren't getting hold of the ball. Like I said earlier, if he wasn't getting hold of the ball, they would have been under even more pressure. We might have conceded a goal by half-time. Obviously, we'll never know, but he was important in that. Then in the second half, the little tweak that the manager did and put him at number 10 was unbelievable. I don't think I've seen a 6'6" number 10 before, but his control of the ball and his short passing was superb, and he was involved. I need to watch it again. I'm pretty certain he started to move off for the first goal with a layoff that was then went out to Sabitzer, and then the second goal he was involved in it. Getting the ball on the floor and giving it, but he got it back and then played it in for Garnacho. He got the assist for that. I think Wout Weghorst, who's been getting a hell of a lot of stick, would be a worthy man of the match today.
I agree with that.
I have to say,
just to touch on, I think pretty much all Man United fans said change the front 3 in the second half, change it, bring on Pellistri, bring on whatever, change the front 3. But why? Were you saying change the front 3?
I was saying
you one of them?
I was saying change it because it weren't working, but Eric Ten Hag still did change it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the fact that we didn't see past it. What we said is change the front 3 and take Weghorst out of the game. But then Ten Hag saw something a bit further. Is actually we can change the front 3, but actually change the middle of the park as well, where you shift Bruno this way.
Very clever.
Yeah, that is where obviously he makes his money and we don't. But I'm just amazed by how he's found this new position. We just said we want a striker, and he's given us a new conversation where we can say, well, in certain games can we use Weghorst in a 10? And I'm very critical of Weghorst, and I must say this, but the fact that we say he's a Burnley reject or whatever, it's taught me a lesson that don't write off players based on where they play and what league and what club they play. It is not fair on them, and it's down to the manager to bring strengths out of the play and make them shine.
So somebody said to me, I've heard a lot of that about Weghorst being a Burnley reject. When they got relegated, they had to cut their wage bill dramatically, and it's been said to me that Weghorst was let go by Burnley because he was on such big wages and because he was one that was wanted. In other words, he left Burnley because he's a good player, not because he's a bad player.
Suited both parties.
I think honestly, after Ten Hag made that change, which you have to say that is where he makes his money, because no one would have said it. They wouldn't have, and it was brilliant. It was honestly brilliant. If you said that, they would
have gone crazy. Can you imagine?
Exactly, and it was a brilliant change, and I thought Weghorst handled it brilliantly. And again, he was vital today, I have to say. First half, he was okay. Second half, I thought it was very, very good.
Grew into it.
We'll have to watch that goal back and see if he should have had one, because it'll be interesting.
I can't wait to see that.
One thing though, I was really unhappy why Wilfred Gnonto had the same exact movement as his goal. I was so fuming at the back line and the midfield. Just everyone. Why? And he had a shot as well.
Yeah, it was
how
it was
dare
quite
you
a
do
poor
the
shot.
same? Yeah.
Noto is honestly, he is such a good
Like, okay,
player.
now, is he 100 million now? Is Leeds going to say he's a 100 million player? Every player who does that is 100 million.
He's got,
like that.
Leeds, I've got to say, have a very, very good talent on his hands. I've watched him loads this season, and he's so good.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, before we head off, because it is the end of the show now, I just wanted to ask you, predictions. We've got Barcelona and Leicester this week. Let's say it's a point basis. I mean, I know Barcelona's a leg in the tie, but out of 6 points, how many points do you think United can get over the next 2 games? We'll just go quick fire across the panel. Faz?
4.
4. I agree. Draw in the Nou Camp, 3 points off Leicester.
Madison though, man. God damn it.
Leicester are on fire, aren't they? They are, aren't
It's going to go 0
They've scored 4 in each of the last 2 league games.
Madison,
I don't think we've scored 4 in a league game all season.
We're on fire, Ricky.
We're
playing
fire,
Harry Maguire at centre
You
back.
know, I always look at things. I always look at things a bit more cagely. They're going to be tough games, aren't they? I'll go 2 draws.
So you're going to go 2 points.
Loving the positivity. Brilliant.
This way next time.
Sorry, I'll say mine because I've not said mine.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to say 4 points. I think a draw at the Nou Camp and a win against Leicester as well.
Right.
SK says exactly certain games you can use Weggy at 10, but for Barca against Xavi, De Jong, Pedri, small and technical won't work. I think is Sabitzer out? I'm not sure. I don't think Sabitzer is out of the game.
Why would he be out the game?
He's not out the game. I'm pretty sure he's not, but if...
He was registered in the squad cup tie for the Europa squad.
People are thinking because it's cup tie, but he is able to play. I've been confirmed in my ear, Sabitzer is able to play. Thank you. I am happy about that. But look, everyone, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Another great show and another good win for Manchester United. City are winning 3-0 at half-time. So second in the table, I think it lasted about an hour, Faz. But you know what it is,
I got my screenshot, it's okay.
We keep moving forward. The good thing is Spurs drop points this week, Newcastle drop points. So in regarding top 4, we're in a good position. Hopefully that continues. Thanks to our guests, Faz, Kev and Ricky, for coming on. And make sure you stay tuned because obviously we've got a few people going out to Barcelona midweek, but we will still have the fan forum in the studio. And again, we've got more match day content coming up for you. Games coming thick and fast. But thank you everyone in the comments for getting your comments in. Every opinion is welcome. Every opinion is welcome. And there's a lot of different opinions tonight. But make sure you like the video, everyone. Make sure you share it. Make sure you subscribe. And we'll see you on the next one.